Russell, can you hear me?
I can.
So I'm standing outside in my parking lot. I'm having my battery replaced on my Tahoe. It was dead.
Oh,
So when he calls on me, just in case if I have a bad connection or anything like that, just let him know. I'm supposed to do an announcement for the Cigar Fellowship, which I am ready to do, but I'm just giving you a heads up in case you have to be my lifeline.
I will be your lifeline, my friend.
Okay. It's funny. I can only see you on my phone. I haven't used Zoom on my phone in a while. I thought I would see the other participants.
When you scroll to the right, you can get more people. I see Mel's on here.
Oh yeah. Okay. I do see that now. Okay. I gotcha. Hi, Mel.
Hello. Yeah,
Hi,
Dad's on
Melanie.
well, but I don't know if Dad's going to the Cigar Fellowship, or maybe he is. I can't remember.
Yeah, I don't see. I see he's on their Zoom here. There he is.
He's
Hello.
on mute.
Guess where I'm heading, Jim Hunt?
Where are you going, buddy? Getting ready to go out to the track?
Going out to the track. Yeah, I
Did
got
I get-
in and I got all my stuff unloaded from my vacation, and now I'm gonna drive out and stop by the little truck and RV wash place and head out to the Las Vegas Motor Speedway.
Nice. I just got the call a little while ago. Apparently, they are going to move me to Motorhome Hills, which is nice.
Okay.
So that'll be good. That means I have to lift the jack stands up, do all that stuff, and
Yeah.
because it's over by the drag strip right now.
Yeah.
So keep that in mind, TJ.
Okay.
You too, Mel. You're always welcome.
All right.
Yeah, we got the infield viewing or the top of the world viewing now out at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. So you guys are always welcome at whichever viewing place you like.
And Jim, they make a hybrid Tahoe.
Oh,
I don't know if
really?
you knew that. Yeah.
It might be time soon. All right, he just started my car, so I'm gonna put myself on mute for a few minutes. But if he starts making the announcements and I'm not listening, cover for me for a minute.
Yeah, where is the party this year? When is it?
It's next Friday at Kirk's at 6 p.m. But I got a whole stuff. I'll be on there. Just delay me. Just delay him for a minute, and I'll cover it.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, I'll be back.
How you doing, Tom?
Doing good right now. Yeah, everything's good.
I'm glad to hear that. Yep. Good to hear that.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I still do treatments every 2 months for 2 years, but yeah, it's getting there. Does anybody have any sound coming in?
Nope.
Nope.
Let's everybody rename to can't hear or audio off. Maybe they'll figure it out.
Now I gotta figure out how to do that.
I'm
Just
driving.
rename in the menu at the top right.
Or text Kurt or Kirk.
It looked like Stu Lipoff was there and doing something.
No, we are Elks members or members of our church. Let's try the Rotary. This is a first for us, so we're going to try out the Rotary. Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you for
Okay.
coming, all of you.
Sarah, do we have any more guests of Rotarians, non-members? Great. Elliot, by the way, congratulations. You've been a member now, what, 10 days? There you go, 9 days.
Thank you, fellow Rotarians, Mr. President. It is my honor and very distinguished pleasure to introduce to you my friend of 30 years who got me inducted at the Apple Valley Rotary Club, Mr. Don Holland. Don is the former chief policy advisor to the first district supervisor of San Bernardino County, Robert Lovingood, and he is the former editor-in-chief of the Daily Press. My honor.
Really, no reason to be impressed. My dad, who passed away 3 years ago this week, actually, I've forgotten, I believe he was a 48-year Rotarian in Wilmington, California, and he had well over 30 years of perfect attendance. And I remember him actually lamenting that because he had such a record, he knew he could not break that. So anyway, I'm happily retired. I'm a California refugee like Elliot, and I'm writing a biography right now of Captain Joseph McConnell, who's the all-time #1 jet ace in American history, who underwent gunnery training out here at Nellis. So thank you.
Great, welcome, welcome, welcome. Any other non-member guests of Rotarians? Okay, do we have any visiting Rotarians today from other clubs? Seeing none, we'll move to the next agenda item. Great. Oh, let's welcome, yeah, thank you. See how I get that nonverbal coaching from past presidents? And I appreciate it. Okay, we have several announcements. We're going to start with Brian Sorrentino right here, and then we're going to go to Greg McGuire afterwards. Sarah, your job's not done. You don't get, you're going to get, okay.
Am I on? Hello.
Got it.
Is it?
Yours is on, mine is
Okay.
not.
Concourse update. We have 1,000,001 slots and things to do for concourse. So it's coming up. It's October 23rd. That's a Saturday. However, on the Saturdays leading up to that, we do have signups to what Tina was talking about over on Eastern Avenue for Celebrity Cars and Coffee. I'm going to be there this weekend. 6:45 for setup. I'll set up. Bill's there with me this weekend. We have 2 more slots. Really, 1 would be helpful. 2 would be great. If anybody wants to sign up for this weekend, look on the sign up sheets. When you get to that concourse section in the green book, keep going. And then there's a whole bunch of signups for the event itself. We're going to distribute. There's so many signups, as a matter of fact. We're going to distribute it via email. And then Sean's going to start marking down names and we'll start filling in blanks. But there's like 120 or so slots to fill. We're not expecting everybody in this room to account for all of those. Friends, family, enthusiasts, anybody you want to bring to come and work a shift with you at the event. We broke it down to smaller shifts. They want 12-hour shifts. We're not doing that. So about 4-hour shifts, maybe 5, depending. There's different work jobs within those. Find something that looks cool to you to do, or your friends and you want to do it with, loading cars, being VIP hosts, whatever. It's all in there. Sean's going to distribute it because it's a lot to take in, but over the next few weeks, we want to start filling those slots up. Here's the big bonus. Besides being able to do a cool thing, you get a free ticket to the event as well, which is a $100 ticket. Additionally, Rotary will have a VIP booth that we're going to try to rotate people in and out of on the second floor, overlooking and mixing with the car owners and stuff like that too on the day of the event. So it's going to be really, really cool. Please mark your calendar, October 23rd, and sign up.
Great. You can put me down for all day. Okay, is this microphone working? Okay, great. Greg McGuire, where are you? Sarah, on the road. Let's go.
Come meet you halfway.
Tony, you're next. Or Tina, you're next.
Okay, thank you, Mr. President, and distinguished guests and Rotary members. Tomorrow night, Aviators ball game out at the beautiful Aviators ballpark. I was just out there this morning picking up 100 tickets that they donated to us to give to members of the Creech and Nellis men and women. So very, very generous of them. we have a tailgate party set up with the USO in the parking lot prior to the event that it's going to be set up at 4:45. The tailgate starts at 5:45. The game is at 7:05. We have tickets available for purchase from the Rotary members, includes a tailgate, only $20 a piece. And these are not out in the middle of nowhere. These are good seats. So $20 a piece. Bring your friends, bring your family. Let me know or let Sean know. Rosalie will take 5. Set 5. Set 10.
Okay,
They're going quick. So thank you.
great, thanks. Over to Tony.
It's Tina, the other Tony.
Oh, I got it.
Tuesday, September 28th, we have orientation at Bob, and Tony and I learned that the correct pronunciation of his name is Werner. So the orientation will be at Bob Werner's house at 6 o'clock to 8:30. Sign up is in the green book. Please, if you want to go, and you haven't told us already, sign up because I need to give the caterer a number later today. So thank you very much.
Great, awesome. Jim Hunt, are you here? Jim Hunt?
I am on Zoom. I am on Zoom, Mr. President.
Okay, does he have volume where he can talk to us? Kirk? Okay.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Hello?
Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Or if it's your iPhone.
Hello?
We're hearing you.
Okay. So if you're hearing me, we are having our cigar social next Friday night at 6 p.m. at the home of Kirk and Becca Holmes. As usual, it's a $10 donation to the foundation. We ask that you bring 3 cigars, 1 to smoke, 1 for the exchange, and 1 for our troops. We have prize donations that have been donated still from Janice Lenke from when we did the one at Creech. We've got a beautiful cigar case, lighter, and cigar from Karen Wisenhunt and Tom Wisenhunt. And we have a humidor that's actually has a Rotary logo on it from Bill Houghton. So we have some nice prizes that have been donated that we'll be raffling off. Also, Kirk will be having, he'll be cooking tri-tip. And we ask anyone that can, if you can, bring a side dish just to compliment the house with the tri-tip. And it should be a nice night. The weather's getting better. It'll be a little cooler. So sign up in the book, sign up sheet going around and join us next Friday at 6 o'clock.
Great. Hey, thank you, Jim. Thank you, Past
Thank
President Jim. Okay, next announcement. The highway cleanup is October 2nd at 8 a.m. Jerry Engel, you want to come up here? I think you got something we'd like you to talk about. Also, I'd like to announce Howie Hopkinson, and I don't even know the name of the committee. I get them all confused and I'm sorry, but Howie Hopkinson and Tom Thomas are we're trying to do VIP social events to help raise money for the foundation. They have planned a tour of an ultra luxury home in Henderson. It is, I think it's sold. Sarah, do you know how much it's sold for? Built by Blue Heron, the Jones family that's been here for more than a century, I think. And it's $50 per, okay, it's $50 per person. Right now, they're limiting the number of people that can come. So right now, it's only Rotary members. So first come, first serve on the list. And my name was first. So there's just a few slots left. And I'm going to turn some time over to Jerry, who's going to talk about something that he asked me about.
All right, can you hear me okay, everybody? Okay, on each table is a 4-page pictorial review of what I'm going to talk about. And you could just pass it around as I'm talking. But I'm going to share with you what I consider a story on love and commitment, and so proud of one of our members. I got a call, I'm looking here, September 8th, I got an email, and I got a call from Michael Williams. Now, those of you remember Michael Williams, he's been with us for many years, and he teaches transcendental meditation. And what happened is he called me to tell me that he was accepted by the government of Armenia. And that's what you're looking at right now is a little pamphlet on some of Armenia's scenes. And what happened, he had tried for it for a few months because apparently Armenia went through many deaths and a lot of trauma in Armenia. And the government sent out a notice around the world. Those who teach transcendental TM, it's called transcendental meditation, to please come over and we need your help because we have so many people with PTSD. And Michael has the heart that he has called me and just let me know that he was honored with this invitation. So I'm just going to read some of the things I have in the email and what's happened. And it's just, it reads like a beautiful, good news story. He said he wanted, what Michael wanted is he wanted to come to Rotary and pick up some of the emblems. Oh, not pick up some of the emblems because he was going to be going to Armenia and he was going to go to some meetings and he wanted to be able to give them our flags. Anyway, he thanked me for offering, but I said, well, let me call President Mike, and Mike and I talked, and he said, of course, you're welcome to come. So here's September 8th now, so this is just very current. He says, just 48 hours ago, I was invited by the Armenian government to come to their country and teach TM to tens of thousands of Armenians, as over 100,000 have been displaced and thousands killed since 2020. Several scientific studies have been done already and currently as well. World-class studies show that immediate relief of stress and fatigue and insomnia come from TM. I've been teaching TM for over 47 years to veterans with PTSD and students as well. It's not a religion or philosophy. It's just a belief system, a simple, effortless mental technique. Anyway, he receives no salary. In the last 18 months, he's lived out of pocket to pay my little office space, living on about $1,700 a month. So I asked him, how is he going to Armenia? Is the government going to give him the money to go? And he said, no, he says, everyone has to just pay their own expenses. The government has no money. So I said, where are you getting the money from? He says, well, I'll just have to borrow it from friends. Well, immediately a few lights went on and I said, wait, I'm going to make a few calls. I called, in fact, what I told Michael, I said, what is your breakdown? And he sent me a little breakdown that he needed about $3,500 to be able to go for 1 month. That included airfare, included housing, transportation, food, and a translator, because he had to have a translator. And I said to him, well, Michael, you need 3,300. You can count on me for 1,000. And then I called Chris Rodenfels and I said, Chris, we have a situation here. Michael has a chance to go to Armenia. I'd like to help him out. Would you care to help out also? He says, yeah, I'll match your 1,000. And then I contacted Tom Thomas, and just like his father Perry, always there for a noble cause, Tom went and said, I'll give 1,500. So between the 3 calls, raised $3,500. Now he needs about $5,000 to stay a second month, because the first month he needs the 3,500 and the other, so that I'm here to say that anybody who is interested in helping out, if they'll give me a call, it can be a section 5013C tax deduction. I'll be glad to give the information and tell you what to do with the money. And lastly, I just like to read this because this is what I call the love of commitment. This is dated September 20th. It's only a few days ago. He says, arrived in Yerevan Friday morning, stayed in a little 50-room hotel for $40 a night. He says it's a little over my budget, so he found a $25 a night room. He says I've taught 12 people so far. That's more than I teach in 2 months in Vegas and starting another course in 2 days. One man in his 50s who had a stroke and now walks slow with a cane. Plus, he had several of his relatives and friends killed in the fighting here in the last 2 years. So suffering from PTSD, high blood pressure, and thoughts of suicide. Just after 5 sessions, he now falls asleep in 15 minutes instead of 2 hours, and his suicide thoughts have decreased by 40% and his blood pressure dropped by 12. Another person was a professor who was having a high blood pressure, and he 62-year-old physicist, and his blood pressures come down about 16 points. So this is the kind of effect that TM has. So all I'm going to close with is, if any of you want to join Tom and myself and Chris in helping Michael, please give me a call. I'll get you the information, and let's just hope he continues on for the 2 months with thousands and thousands of good results. Thank you.
One of those is
Did I keep down to 2 minutes, Mike?
not close. But that's fine. Okay, thank you very much, Jerry. Susan, you have something to talk about related to the 25 Club, is that correct? Okay, Bobbin, if you're the Sergeant of Arms, I'm sure you can, but it's probably better for our folks in the ether to hear you on the microphone.
Fellow Rotarians and guests, on your table, there is one flyer each talking about our 25 Club project, which is the canned food drive to raise money for the Salvation. And fortunately, we have Captain Barnes here. Thank you. Who is going to, his unit will be the recipient of the canned food drive and help us coordinate the special price that we get for the food. So every penny counts here, and there's going to be a raffle. There'll be raffle tickets available October 7th. I'm going to incentivize the sellers of the raffle tickets with Lowry's Bucks, and also something special for every Rotarian. I'm going to challenge you to sell 5 tickets. Please accept the challenge. Thank you, President Mike.
Yes, you got it. Great, thanks. Okay, Mike Kudiamat. Mike, can you come up here? I have some fines as Mike's coming up here. Karen Wisenhunt, I think you had an announcement you wanted to make.
Most of you know Captain Kurt and his beautiful wife Becca are about to have their first child in a couple of months from now. And I know this is not a Rotary sanctioned event, but the grandparents of baby Neil would like to invite the Rotarians and their spouses to the baby shower, which is October 19th at Kurt and Becca's house. There's flyers in the back if you want some information on that. And it's a bring a potluck dish item. And it is from 12 till 4 o'clock.
Great. Hey, thank you, Karen. I got another fine. Nikki Bates, are you nearby? Where's Nikki? Nikki's over here. And then we're going to find, I'm going to get you your steps. I got you going back and forth.
Okay, super quick. Not a Rotary sanctioned event either. Sorry, but thank you, Mike,
So
for letting me.
$50, got it.
Yeah, $50. Okay. It's Vegas PBS is hosting the Daniel Tiger Be My Neighbor Day, Sunday, 10 to 2 at downtown Summerlin in the lawn area. We have 5,800 people signed up to come so far. It's going to be a spectacular event, 40 different vendors. It's something we do for the community. We wanted to do it every year. Of course, we couldn't do it last year.
And
but
what
it's
is it again?
Daniel Tiger, Be My Neighbor Day. All right,
And who's Daniel.
Daniel Tiger is a character. Daniel Tiger is yes. Thank you. From Mr. Rogers. From Mr.
Okay.
Rogers' Neighborhood.
Got it.
Daniel Tiger is one of the original characters on Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. Now,
Awesome.
we are all in the room old enough to remember Mr. Rogers.
Yes.
So you at least remember that part of it. But it is a community event all about things that you can do to help your community. Lots of activities for kids as well as adults. So again, 40 different vendor tables. Please come. You'll enjoy it.
Okay, Michael, we're turning it over to Michael. He's going to tell us why he's here, actually.
This week we're gonna honor one of our fellow Rotarians for a Paul Harris Fellow number 5. So we're gonna call Val Hatley, please.
Okay. Gwen Hall. Where is Gwen Hall? There she is. She's going to talk to us about one of our elementary schools that we've sponsored.
The new elementary school that we're sponsoring is
Louder.
Laura Deering. Laura Deering over me.
We need to have Tony talking it.
They have a gardening program that is called Garden Humanities. And their motto is keep it growing inside and out. And they're incorporating green our planet lessons. And they're doing this through social studies, STEM, and other activities. And they're starting a new hydroponics program next month. And I was so impressed with this. I'm going to be sharing it with a niece of mine who is also an elementary teacher. We're going to help them write a grant to get some extra funding because they need some supplies.
Great. Thank you. Okay, we're going to take a brief break for some fellowship. And it looks like most of you probably finished your main meal. Oh, we've got one more announcement.
President Mike, fellow Rotarians, I was remiss in letting you know that our 25 club meetings are going to be the first Thursday of every month. We're going to have October at Arlene's house. We'll have November at Bert Reiner's house. And last week, Rose Faloco said she would take care of December. So we have all our locations set for the next 3 months. Look forward to some fun. Thank you. You're
Great.
all invited. You do not have to be 25 club members.
Okay, with that, talk amongst yourselves.
I mean, yeah.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen. The reason you come is the raffle. I know it. So we're doing the raffle right now. We're excited. the person whose number has been drawn to pull the card for the raffle. 812-2872. Last four digits, 2872. Bert is unusually lucky. I've seen him draw many times. Come on up, Bert. Okay, 2872. There it is. Okay, take the card. The Joker wins the pot. Got a king. Great. So he gets $10 to bet for another day. Great. So he doubled his money. The other ticket that gets the 2 Lowry bucks is 2831. 2831. Hey, John. Oh my goodness. His first month in the club. There we go. 2831. We're all good. Okay, I'd like to. Oh, we need a picture. There we go. That's a good picture. Okay, with that, I'm going to invite Tarby Bryant to introduce our speaker.
So our speaker today at the Rotary Club of Las Vegas So our speaker today at the Rotary Club of Las Vegas is our Nevada State Treasurer, Zach Conan. Zach was elected statewide in 2018 and today leads a team of 45 professionals responsible for the investing of the state and local municipalities' money, financing community assets and facilities, and processing payments for public agencies. He is also responsible for the college savings plan and numerous scholarship programs. He serves on the State Board of Finance, Executive Branch Audit Committee, and is chair of the state's debt management network. Since he's been treasurer, Nevada has received 2 bond rating increases. Prior to becoming our state treasurer, Zach built a successful career in gaming and finance and is a graduate of Cornell University Hotel Administration and holds a JD from the UNLV Boyd School of Law. He's married to Lakey. They have 3 children and 2 dogs, one named Democracy and the other one Liberty. Please join me in welcoming Zach Conan.
Good afternoon, everyone. How are you today? Good. Thank you. And thank you for having me. Mike, President, thank you for having me. Tarby, thank you for the invitation. And I'm so glad to be here today to talk to you all about Daniel Tiger. No, is that not? Okay, sorry, I might have gotten the speeches confused. See, I have a 7-year-old and twin 4-year-old boys, and in combination, we know a lot about Daniel Tiger in my household, and we will see you there. So, a lot of people say, what does the treasurer do? And so, does anyone know what the treasurer does? Just sort of, I like to get a group of heads. Okay. Well, we do, sir. We do. We give it back, though. So there are 6 constitutional officers here in Nevada, called constitutional officers because we are listed in the Constitution. We all have 4-year terms. We are all in the same cycle. You, of course, know about the governor and the lieutenant governor, the secretary of state and the attorney general. And then you have the 2 financial constitutional officers, the controller and the treasurer. Now, the best way to keep us apart is that the controller is the state's chief accountant. She's responsible for making sure that the books are right. The treasurer is the state's chief investor. I manage a portfolio of about $4 billion directly and about $30 billion indirectly. And I do that because every time we make a dollar, that's one less dollar that you all have to pay in taxes. Now, we've been pretty successful on that front, but I just want to talk a little bit about what the Treasury does, and then a little bit about why I'm here, and a process that we're going through statewide to spend some other money. Because, of course, we are the government. We collect dollars and then we spend them. We try to make sure that what we spend them on is worthy of the collection that happen. There are 5 functions that happen in the Treasurer's office. 3 are what you would call traditional Treasury functions. That's cash management, investments, and debt. And let's talk about each of those briefly. Who here is paid to register your car at the DMV with a credit card? Okay, that went to me. Who here has had to go online and file for an LLC or an S-Corp or something with the Secretary of State's office, used a credit card to do that? Okay, good. That went to me as well. Who paid for either of those things with a check or cash? Okay, that also went to me. So any money that comes into the state of Nevada goes through our office. Every dollar that comes in goes through us. Every dollar that goes out comes through us, which is billions of dollars of transactions every month. That all works through cash management. Now, in between the time that we get it and the time that we spend it, we invest it. And that's pretty important, because when you've got that amount of float, as we say in the business, if you're just sitting on it and looking at it, that's not really effective. Last year, we did about $60 million of investment returns, which is the highest investment returns in the history of the state of Nevada. We have consistently beat benchmarks. Now, most of what we invest in is relatively boring. We're talking about fixed income items, treasuries, agencies, a lot of bonds, obviously Bitcoin, and other things that are really, really, see, that's a joke. Not a lot of people laughed, which is concerning, right? The state treasury does not invest in Bitcoin. I think that's important. But we do invest in a lot of other things. And when we do that well and achieve those returns, like I said, that's more money that comes in, which means it's less money that we have to borrow. The state treasury is one of, actually one agency at the state that doesn't cost money. We make money and pay for other agencies to do their work. We're really proud of that. Now, we also do debt, and debt's the other side of the investment thing. We are responsible for borrowing money when the state borrows money to do things like build bridges or schools or water treatment plants, to expand highways. That all goes through us. And because of that, just like any individual or any business, we have a credit rating. Our credit rating right now is the highest our credit rating has been in the history of the state of Nevada. We are 1 below prime, AA plus, or AA1, depending on the issuer. And earlier this week, we actually returned to our pre-pandemic highs, moving off of a negative outlook, which of course we and every other state in the union was placed on during the pandemic, moving back to stable. We're really proud about that, not just because it's a fun thing to talk about at parties. I go to some boring parties, but because it means that we can borrow money and pay less interest on it. Last year, when we borrowed money, we paid about 1.62% to borrow money for 20 years. That's pretty good for the state. And what that means is that we can borrow more and put more people back to work, because every dollar we borrow goes into a capital project, and every capital project we fund puts Nevadans back to work. And that's obviously an incredibly important thing, not just any year, but especially this year because of the pandemic. All right, those are the 3 traditional treasury functions. We also get to do 2 other ones that are a little more fun and a little more out there. One's college savings. The state of Nevada, through the treasurer's office, manages about $28 billion of other people's money to save for college. Now, if you're doing the math, you might say, gosh, there's probably about 1 million kids in Nevada under the age of 18. Does that mean that each one is totally set for college? No. That means that other states and their residents know that our programs are good enough that instead of investing in their state's college savings programs, they come and invest with me. So to that end, that $27 billion actually helps to pay for all of our college savings programs that just help Nevadans. You've heard of a couple of them. One is College Kickstart, largest program of its type in the world. That gives every public school kindergartner in the state $50 of college savings. They just need to come get it. And that is, of course, intended to kickstart that process of savings. We also have something called Nevada Prepaid Tuition, one of 11 programs in the country. And that allows you, it's basically a defined benefit program. You can pay for the cost of college at today's rate, UNR, UNLV, or one of our community college friends. And then whenever that kid goes to college, we're going to pay for it. Now, if the cost of college continues to increase, as it does, that's a pretty good way to save money. Just to back a napkin for it, costs about $26,000 to do 4 years at UNLV from a tuition perspective. and it would have cost you about $8,000 if you bought that plan when the kid was in kindergarten. That's a pretty okay return. So that program, which is more funded than it's ever been in history, is incredibly solvent. And we know that's important because when you promise to someone that you're going to pay for their college, you want to make sure you're there. I am not only, of course, a spokesman for this, I am also a member. My daughter Ruby, who is 7, has a 4-year plan, and each of the twins has a 2-year plan. And they do that because you can actually transfer plans between family members. So when Ruby gets a scholarship and Rutherford joins the circus, we'll be able to move those plans around to make sure that everybody has access to the funds they need. We also run a little thing called the Millennium Scholarship. Anybody ever heard of that? Okay. Millennium Scholarship, largest merit-based scholarship program per capita in the country, has helped more than 140,000 kids go to college here, originally started by Governor Gwynn. That's why it's the Governor Gwynn Millennium Scholarship, more than 21 years ago. Exceptional program. And now, of course, we're trying to figure out the best ways to keep it going in perpetuity. That's college savings. And then we do the really fun one. And this is where I'd encourage all of you to either get out a phone or write this down. Does anyone know what unclaimed property is? Okay, there's a lot of, yeah, all right, that's good. That means that, because most of you are business owners, that means you're reporting unclaimed property, and that's great, because we've got agents outside for the ones of you who aren't. The unclaimed property is mechanically the state taking custody of dollars that have gotten lost somewhere along the way. So let's say you had a bank account and you moved from one house to another, and the bank can't get in contact with you. It's got $500 in it. You forgot about it because you opened it for something, you never used it, and it's there. Eventually, that money gets escheated, and that's a word that you only hear in this context, but escheated, which is ES cheated. I don't know why. And that comes to us, and we hold it in perpetuity for folks to come back with the general concept that a specific business or a specific bank or a specific whatever might not be there forever, but the state of Nevada, knock on wood, will. And so we hold on to that money. Now, right now, as of this morning, it's about $928 million of other people's money. That's 928 million with an M. And we encourage you to come get that. Every year, we get in about $78 million of funds from businesses. So payroll checks that didn't get cashed, deposits that never got claimed, life insurance proceeds where perhaps the beneficiary had passed before the original account holder. All sorts of this money comes in. It also comes in for businesses. So if you have businesses, you can also check. My first year, we returned a check for $928,000 to an individual. I manage a fair amount of money, but if I misplaced $928,000, you'd be hearing about it. But he had, and so we printed up one of those big checks, you know, the kind of foam ones, gave it back, felt good about it. He can't cash it. I don't think he knows that yet. So we get these funds in. We also get them from safety deposit boxes. And this is my public service announcement of the morning. Who here has a safety deposit box? I won't ask, but the second question is, if you have a safety deposit box and there's anything embarrassing in it, might I recommend that you remove it? Because otherwise I will see it. And we will all talk about it. And that could be embarrassing for you. But safety deposit boxes, if they get lost, also come to us. And then we hold on to that property for a year. In the case of military medals, wedding photos, things like that, we'll hold on to it in perpetuity till we can find the folks. But after a year, we liquidate the contents through an auction, a public auction, and then that money goes so that people can have it in their accounts. So the thing to remember is you go to claimitnevada.org, claimitnevada.org, or our website, which is nevadatreasurer.gov, and you can search. I'd encourage, Mother's Day was a while back, but it's a great gift. So for Mother's Day, for Father's Day, Christmas is coming up, right? You can search. Nevada Day is a good time to return property. You can search your friends and your neighbors and everything else and get the money back. We returned more money during the pandemic than we ever had in a one-year period. We did that because we were talking about it a lot, but also because we tried some interesting things. So as many of you probably know, being in the business community, our unemployment insurance system at the state, not so good, right? Didn't work. But we were able to take the list of people who had filed for unemployment insurance and run it against the list of people that had unclaimed property. And we found $10 million of property owned by people who are unemployed that we were able to return to them. That doesn't fix that underlying system. We're going to talk about that in a second, but that's the type of thing we're trying to do in the Treasury to help people. Okay, so those are the 5 main functions of the Treasurer's Office. There will be a test at the end. So then the pandemic hit, right? And I think this is pretty important. We stayed deeply far away from the health response because that should be left to experts and scientists. But we immediately started working on recovery from an economic perspective and then rebuilding. And so we put together a series of plans, and you probably heard of some of them, that became the focus and the center of the government's economic response to the pandemic. First, we put out a small program called CRAG, Commercial Rental Assistance Grant Program, and that helped small businesses pay their small in-state landlords back rent, because we know that that wasn't a thing that was going to be there. We also worked with banks, mortgages, and credit unions to create a forbearance program in Nevada before there was a national forbearance program. So in Nevada, if you had problems paying your mortgage, you had a solution to that problem about a month before there was a solution on the federal level. That saved some families. We also worked with the governor as he put out the eviction moratoriums and some of the foreclosure moratoriums to spin up a program called CHAP, the Coronavirus Housing Assistance Program, which our office conceptualized and worked with the counties to put out there. Is anybody familiar with the rental assistance programs? Okay, all right. So basically the rental assistance programs funded by the federal government can pay up to 15 months of rent for individuals who have suffered hardships because of the pandemic. Now, we had a choice to make at the state level. Do we pay that money directly to tenants or do we pay that money to landlords? We chose to pay that money to landlords. And we did that for some pretty obvious reasons. But one of the biggest ones is that we run payments for the state, and it's easier to pay one person than it is to pay 50 people, right? So we wanted to make sure that money went directly to landlords. Now, that program has not been without difficulty, but I think it's important to be a little relative when we talk about performance. We would all like CHAP to put money out more quickly, but just out of curiosity, where do people think we fall amongst the other states when it comes to dollars out the door? Are we towards the bottom, towards the top, towards the middle? Any expectations? As a percentage. Pretty high. He's right. We're 8th in the country at getting dollars out the door, which we feel pretty good about. We also put together a program called PETS, the Pandemic Emergency Technical Support Grant Program. Statistically, some of the businesses in this room got access to that money, but has anybody heard about PETS? Okay, so PETS was a $10,000 program for small businesses, and we originally created it in response to some of the difficulties that the SBA was having getting that PPP, the Paycheck Protection Program, dollars out the door, right? The first round of that program, and it did get a lot better, and we appreciate the SBA's work on this. The first round of that program was pretty hard to apply for, right? If you had a CFO, you had an accountant, you had a lawyer on staff, and you had a banking relationship, you were good. If you didn't have any of those things, you probably weren't going to get access to the first rounds of the money. And so we took a program, we started with $20 million, and we put it out there and said, look, if you're a small business and you've been impacted negatively by the pandemic, we'll give you $10,000 to keep people employed. We started with $20 million. We started on Monday, October 19th. That money was spoken for about 45 minutes after we started the program. We had applications for $50 million by noon. And by Thursday, when we shut it down, we had $151 million worth of applications in a $20 million program. So that's a thing. And so we turned around and we got an additional $10 million to make it a $30 million program. Then we found another $20 million to make it a $50 million program. And then we worked with the legislature and the governor to find another $50 million to make it a $100 million program, the largest small business grant program in the history of Nevada, and it's not even close. But here's what happened on the back end. So we realized that we weren't going to be able to spend, and we didn't want to spend a lot of this money on administration. So myself, 2 of my employees, and 2 people from the Governor's Office of Economic Development made every decision. We called every person. We made sure that there wasn't fraud. And this was important because we knew that because there was so much demand into the program, we knew that if $10,000 went to a business that actually wasn't in Nevada, that was $10,000 that wasn't going to go to a business in Nevada. And we realized that some of these businesses we could verify online, right? They had a restaurant, right? Has a web presence, exists. You can call the number and they're like, hey, Bob's Fish Fry. You're like, okay, well, real place. Some of these businesses were a little harder to verify. And so we called. We called on nights. We called on weekends. My wife called. We called on Thanksgiving. And we found a couple of them, about $1 million worth. They weren't real. I mean, we found one that was claiming to be a barbecue food truck, right? Like brisket and whatnot. And like, okay, we looked online, couldn't find them, looked for website, couldn't find them. They had a business license and the rest, obviously all the paperwork was there, but we just couldn't find them. And so we call up, the guy picks up and I said, hey, is this, so-and-so from such and such company? He says, yeah, absolutely. I said, okay, great. Tell me a little bit about your business. And he's like, oh, we're a barbecue food truck. And I said, yeah, no, I mean, I got that from the application. Tell me a little bit more about your business. You ever get that feeling when you're talking to somebody and you're like, this person is lying to me? I'm not sure how they're lying to me or what exactly the lie is, but they're lying to me. And so I kind of kept going, right? And I said, okay, well, can I come visit your food truck? Well, we're closed because of the pandemic. Okay. Well, where was the last place you were? Like, do you have a social media feed or anything? He's like, no, we're all word of mouth. Okay. And so who could I talk to? Different people hire us. And eventually I was just like, well, how about this, sir? How do you make brisket? And he said, well, you cook it in like an oven. And I'm like, hold on, my friend. No one who is in this business is going to start off by telling me that they put it in an oven. Do you use a dry rub or a wet rub? What kind of heat are you cooking it out? What cut of meat is a brisket? And he couldn't answer the questions. We denied his application, right? And we had thousands of versions of that conversation because it was so important to make sure the money went to the right place. Now, that's what we were able to do quickly. And during the pandemic, we kept having this conversation. I say we, I mean myself and your governor, his team, my team, late at night. When do we get back to normal? What does normal look like, right? Is it going to be when we're all in the same room again like this, enjoying a meal and some pleasant company? Is it going to be when the Raiders can play in Allegiant Stadium? Is it going to be when the strip is busy? Is it going to be when I don't have to wear a mask at an event like this? Like, what does normal look like? And so we would talk about that. And eventually that conversation merged and changed a little bit, and it became a more realistic one. Is normal good enough? Is that what we want to get back to? Is the place we were right before the pandemic the place that Nevada should be? And I would suggest for this room and for any other rooms that it's not. 47th in education. Crumbling infrastructure. Classrooms with too many people in them. Opportunity kept from too many for too long. Nevada could be a better place than Nevada has been. But that was kind of a theoretical conversation, right? Because to do these things takes money. And if there was any time not to, and I'll speak for the governor and myself and literally everybody else in the government, if there was any time to not put a new tax increase on folks, it's in the middle of the pandemic, right? Everybody's on the same page there. I assume this room's okay with that? Okay, great. And so the concept and the conversations were that. They were conceptual, right? They were dreaming. And then the federal government showed up. For the first time since 1860, the federal government came in with a whole bunch of money. Let's talk about it. American Rescue Plan. Now, we had the Coronavirus Relief Fund dollars last year, and that was really good. That kept a lot of people alive, kept a lot of businesses alive. Not that big in the scope of things, about $836 million at the state level. I say about 836 million. It was exactly 836 million. It came to me. But then the federal government shows up with the American Rescue Plan. The American Rescue Plan, signed on March 15th, is the largest infusion of federal dollars into the state of Nevada in forever. And let's hope it is, right? Because people had to die. $6.7 billion directly, billions of dollars indirectly. So that 6.7 doesn't include the $3.7 billion in stimulus payments, doesn't include the money that went to the federal, the FPUC, the federal pandemic unemployment compensation, that additional $300 that's now expired, didn't go to the money that went to pay down the exchange, didn't go to the thousands of families who were able to use the child tax care credit to pull themselves and their families out of poverty. I'm not counting that. $6.7 billion. 2.7 came to me on June 4th, which is a Friday at 12:15 in a wire. I don't know if anyone's ever gotten a $2.7 billion wire. Anyone gotten a $2.7 billion wire? It's a weird feeling. You get the alert on your phone, it doesn't fit on the screen, right? It's like click here for more, and then you do, and there was more. $2.7 billion. And for anyone who manages money professionally, I can tell you that 12:15 on a Friday is absolutely the best time to get $2.7 billion. It couldn't be a better time, and the market just loves it. So $2.7 billion. cities, counties, non-entitlement units will get in total of about $1.04 billion. And the delta, which is about 2.9 billion, is broken into 103. It was 101 a couple of weeks ago. It was 98 a couple of weeks before that. We keep finding them. That's what happens in bills this big. 103 different buckets. Think about those like government gift cards. Some are really prescriptive. They say, you know, you're going to be able to increase women, infant, and children, and that's all the money can go for. Some are a little less prescriptive. Rental assistance dollars, have to spend it for rental assistance, but you get to choose, does it go to landlords or tenants? You get to choose some rules around it. And some are just really vague, right? Provision of government services, whatever that means. So $6.7 billion. And we thought to ourselves, we should probably do something a little different than we've done in the past, because if we don't, why would the outcomes be any different? And so the governor and I put out something called the Every Nevadan Recovery Framework, which none of you have read, but if you want to, it's online. It's 8 pages that basically lays out the ethos for spending this money. And then we said we need to go talk to people. And so we started what was originally a 75-day, 75-event tour in all 17 of Nevada counties, in all the major cities, with any different group that we would like to come hear us speak. And I appreciate Darby and President for having us here to continue on that conversation. Because what we realized was the decisions on how to spend $6.7 billion shouldn't come from me or the governor or the legislature, or 10 people in a room somewhere in Carson City. It should come from Nevadans. And so we set up a website called nevadarecovers.com. One more time, nevadarecovers.com, all spelled out. And on that website, you can do 3 things. You can sign up for events like this or others. I can assure you the jokes are mostly the same, so you might find yourself just focusing on one event. You can submit a survey, and in that survey, you can tell some of your priorities. That lets us create a qualitative and quantitative zeitgeist for Nevada at this moment, right? What's important to you? Do you care about state parks? Do you care about K through 12 education? What do you care about? That helps us. And then the third thing is you can submit an idea. And to date, we've received more than 1,500 ideas from Nevadans, from small businesses, from charitable organizations, from churches about here's a thing we need to make our community better, and here's how we would do it. Now, some of those ideas come in and they're fully baked, right? A church, a charitable organization, a food pantry might say, gosh, if I had X amount of money, I could build 30,000 more square feet of space. I could get another refrigerated truck, and there's 10,000 people who need my services, and this would let me serve them. Here are the bids. And there's some groups who just say, I couldn't get on the internet when my kid had to go to school at the same time that I had to work, and that's a problem. I can't get to my medical care because there isn't a provider who does that thing. You know, Hawthorne, Nevada is about to lose its last dentist. That's a problem we don't have to deal with in Southern Nevada, but it's assuredly a problem we have to deal with in the state of Nevada, which is who I represent. Some families have said, I'm hungry. My kids are hungry. And we have an opportunity to fix some of those problems, to create real systemic change and fix them for the long term. We also have a responsibility to fix some of the problems that are in the more immediacy, right? That family that's hungry right now is not just hungry today, but they're likely to be hungry in the future if we can't get that family a job, if we can't get them back to work, if we can't make sure that the social safety nets that we have all by the by paid for work, right? Unemployment's a great example of this. That system failed Nevadans, period. It failed Nevadans because no one had put any money into it for 2 decades. This isn't a recent problem. Our unemployment system's been broken for a long time. It's just we were able to hide it when we had 200 people applying as opposed to 200,000 people applying. So we're going to fix that system. The legislature's already made decisions, spend $54 million to replace the unemployment system. But there are other things that are broken for Nevadans, and we need your help to identify them and to come up with solutions for how to fix them. And that's what Nevada Recovers is about. After we get all that information, after we do our 75 meetings in 75 days, and just so everybody knows, if we count this meeting, this will be meeting 78, and we're on day 42. So from a math perspective, I think we'll get to 75 and 75 since we already did. Once we get all that information, we start bucketing them into types of ideas: food instability, housing insecurity, K through 12, higher education, job retraining, small business support, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And we start working through how can we get this done? Because of course, as the state's chief investment officer, I spend all my days terrified of fiscal cliffs. We can't use this money to start up programs that we aren't going to have money for in 2 years. right? We need to use this money to buy things, capital assets, that once they are fixed, they will stay fixed. We need to use this money to look at things like, how do we make sure that we get our HVAC systems in schools up to snuff so that they don't spend more money repairing them and less money on teachers? We got to use this money to set up things like revolving loan funds for small businesses so that they can get started and then pay that money back, as opposed to just handing out checks and then hoping that it works 5 years from now. That's the type of work that we're doing in your treasury. And that's why I'm here. So again, nevadarecovers.com. And with the president's allowance, and he's not paying attention, so that's great. With the president's allowance, happy to take, it's good. See, he's doing the survey, folks. If you're all right, I'd love to take any questions about literally anything having to do with the government, with the knowledge that's probably not my fault. Ma'am, you went first.
Any government funds come with very, very strict timelines, right? And you use it or lose it. So what are the timelines on this money you're talking about?
Great question. So for the most part, the funds have to be allocated by December 31st of 2024, spent by December 31st of 2026. We're certainly going to hit those deadlines. I can promise you we will not send a single dollar back to the federal government because they're not going to decrease our taxes, right? They're just going to give it to Kansas. And Kansas is just fine, but not that fine. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So first of all, thank you very much for coming today and filling us in on what the job is. I'm still learning about the local government here. You very last point you raised, which is making sure that these funds are invested in things that don't have a physical cliff, is something I want to ask you about. Typically, what ends up happening in areas where there are very strong government labor unions, like the teachers union, that sort of stuff, the legislature takes control of that. They basically take that money coming in and they start using it for salary increases and things like that. So what are the safeguards and guardrails mechanisms that make sure what you just said actually happens, where that money doesn't get pushed into basically benefits and pay increases, which typically what ends up happening?
Yeah, me and the governor. We try for short answers because it's factual, right? Yes, sir, in the back. If you want to just holler it out, that's fine. I can repeat it.
Thanks very much for sending that website. I have about 100 Amazon drivers, so if you see a bunch of stuff coming in from Amazon, you'll know where it originated from. Okay? So actually, just a wild card question, cryptocurrency. There's a company up here in Summerlin, a startup that's building kiosks where you can go get cryptocurrency. Just interested in what you think about crypto and how it's going to affect you or if at all.
Yeah, I think there's the question both about cryptocurrency and then about blockchains as an underlying technology. I'm a facet or a fan of using whatever tools we can to get the job done. The state's never going to invest in cryptocurrency. We might hold some assets in a stable coin if that made transactions more quick. But the state's already doing, and local governments are already using blockchain technology as a way to speed up and modernize our record keeping. The recorder up in Washoe County is digitizing all their property records on the blockchain, for instance, as a way to get a thing done. I think when it comes to cryptocurrencies, and we're going to start seeing this a little bit more, the federal government, who controls more of, from an SEC perspective, how that is all going to interact than we do at the state level. The federal government's always going to lean towards what they've always done and is always going to lead towards what is safe. And so I think you'll start seeing things like Tether and other cryptocurrencies that aren't really attached to the US dollar start getting a little squeezed on that front. But with that said, there's obviously a market demand for it. And I think the state of Nevada needs to figure out a best way to take advantage of it.
Okay.
He's gonna kick me off.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Stay here just a minute, please. So we've got a couple gifts for you. The first is our four-way test coin. We have a four-way test within Rotary that guides our policies and beliefs and our actions. And so I'd like to give that to you. And then we have an award we give where we donate shoes in your name to children at one of the 6 schools that we support. Oh, that's great. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Okay, everybody. We've got a couple things real quick before I let you go. Number one, we have a lot more of the directory books. So grab one and go see Sean to get one. Number two, our speaker next week is Rosemary Vasiliadis, the Director of the Department of Aviation. And the last thing is, Sarah helped me with this. We have the Angel Awards, which I believe is a week from today. Our foundation was selected by Vegas Inc. as the Foundation of the Year in Southern Nevada. So we want to thank Bob Werner and Dan Adamson and all the other people that have served on the foundation board over the years that have helped make it such. There's a dinner next Thursday night. Got it. Those that were there when we took the photo after a certain meeting. Great. And with that, thank you all for coming. Meeting adjourned.